This video is a tutorial on learning the glossary terms for teaching terminology. We'll start off with the first term, academic education, which is the theoretical, the liberal, the speculative, and classical subject matter found to compose the curriculum of the public secondary school. Accountability, responsibility for a specified performance, outcome, or result. Administration, the function provided by management in the planning, organizing, initiating, coordinating, operating, evaluating, and revising procedures or programs directed towards the completion of an assigned task and achievement of a goal. Adult, any human being past the age of puberty who has discontinued his full-time attendance in a formal school situation and functions in one or more adult life roles, viz. Spouse, parent, worker, or any human being who has reached the legal and or social prescribed age for assumption of adult rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Adult, any individual who's attained the age of 16. Adult basic education, any purposeful effort towards self-development in the basic skills of communication, computation, health, consumer development, and citizenship carried on by an adult who is generally classified as functionally illiterate or undereducated. The next one is adult education, a process by which the instructional needs of an adult, as perceived by themselves or others, are met through organized learning experiences. Adult learner, an adult who has enrolled in any course study, whether special or regular, to develop new skills or qualifications or improve existing skills and qualifications. Advisory council, a group of persons created to give advice on a particular project, program, or organization. Agency, an institution or group, formal or informal, in structure, formed and operating to alleviate and to serve specific needs of individuals in a neighborhood, community, or city. A group of dedicated persons identified with a specific area of services. Andragogy, the art and science of teaching adults and of adult learning in a climate where the adult is given primary consideration, contrasted with pedagogy. Appraisal, a general evaluation of an activity, program, experience, or achievement, often semi-intuitive and of limited sophistications. Apprenticeship, a period of time during which a person learns a trade, skill, or role by practice and supervision. Assessment, the process of measuring change which has been incurred by an educational experience. Associative learning, learning acquired by association of ideas in identified relationships such as opposition, sequence, cause, and effect. Attitude change, some degree of change in a internalized or personalized feelings one has about persons, places, things, or events. Although the change presents a shift in the individual's position, it may shift in either a negative or positive direction from the original one. Career, one's progress through life, one's advancement or achievement in a particular vocation or profession to which one gives a professional and personal commitment. Career education, the conscious and structured effort on the part of an individual, either through their own or through beneficiary efforts of institutions, employers, and technical and professional societies, to advance their proficiency, peer recognition, and public attendance in terms of occupational aims. Change agent. Person, group, or thing that affects or seeks to affect change, particularly an agent for change of social conditions. Citizenship population. The inhabitants of a city, town, state, or county or country who are eligible to vote and participate in the deliberations of our governmental processes. Citizenship education, teaching people how to become effective citizens. Class, the basic unit in the organizational structure of most formal learning. Generally, a group of learners which meets regularly for a fixed term to be instructed in one or more subjects or in an entire curriculum. A recent trend has been toward a more open and flexible grouping of students based on their own interests or abilities. Clientele, that specific subgroup of the general population for which an institution, agency, or professional practitioner has a special interest, relationship, and or reason for being. Clock hour. A clock hour is a total of 60 minutes of classwork of instruction, communication skills, the capability for making oneself understood orally or in writing. Community college, an educational institution above the high school level, offering educational and training opportunities in skills, subject matter, and other allied areas. Activities and offerings may be with or without credit, the goal being to offer the people in the community the educational opportunities they lack and desire. Community development, educational efforts with individuals and groups for purpose of improving the material, social, and aesthetic aspects of the life of the people living in clearly defined geographical area. Community relations, the reciprocal pattern of an interaction among members of a community that persists over a period of time so that a stable set of social expectations develop. Community student, an individual who attends a class regularly but who travels a certain distance back and forth to secure the course they desire or need. Competency, the requisite ability to perform a specific task or qualify for a specific role, a functional qualification as opposed to a credential-based qualification. Consultant, resource person available for expert or professional advice in the solution of a problem or achievement of a goal. Continuing education, any purposeful effort towards self-development carried on by an individual without direct legal compulsion and without such efforts becoming his major field of activity, with emphasis on university or senior college level of efforts to provide this education. Cooperation, the working together toward a common end in a joint action. Cooperative education, the linking of formalized education with the real world in which the learner is permitted the opportunity to apply that which is learned in a formal context to a problematic situation in the real world. Coordination, the function of bringing persons, groups, and institutions into unity for a common cause or common action. Coordinator, the individual responsible for unifying individuals or groups working for a common cause or action. Counseling, the art of helping an individual to solve a problem adequately through personal interaction. Course. A course is a planned sequence of an educational activity leading to the acquisition of a skill or body of knowledge, usually over a predetermined period of time. Credit by examination. Number one, credit earned through the applicant's successful completion of a proficiency test in the placement of performing activities ordinarily associated with formal coursework. Two, the process of certifying achievement by systematic observation of a desired behavior. Curriculum, a planned sequence of several educational activities leading to the acquisition of specific skills or bodies of knowledge, either in a given period or in a given subject or group of subjects. Data, useful facts of information used in making decisions and drawing conclusions. Delinquent person, an individual who does not abide by or conform to societal behavioral standards that are acceptable to the majority within their environment. Diagnosis, the process or procedure of determining the nature of a problem or disorder. Two, a professional judgment made concerning a problem and possible solutions using tests or other appropriate devices. Diploma, a certificate given by a school or educational institution testifying that a student has earned a degree or completed a course of study. A certificate conferring some honor or privilege. Drop-in, an individual who participates or who reestablishes his participation in an educational activity of an informal, irregular basis. Dropout, an individual who continues a course, program of study, or educational endeavor before completing the scheduled period of an activity. Education, any purposeful effort towards self-development carried on by an individual or one that is planned to afford man the opportunity to continually structure and restructure his cognitive and affective worlds. Enrollee, a person who signs up, enlists, volunteers, registers, or contracts to be a student, participant, learner, subject, or pupil in a course, class, workshop, or other learning situation. Environment, the conditions, physical, social, cultural, and psychological that act upon and influence the life of an individual, group, or community. Evaluation, an appraisal of an activity seeking to measure the extent to which the activity attained the objectives set forth. Evening college, the division of an institution offering a program of college-level study in a late afternoon or evening intended primarily for adults, and usually under a separate administrative unit. Facilitator, an individual who, like a catalyst, makes particular action possible by his presence and his know-how. Family group, those individuals who kinship, marriage, or other affiliation interact as a primary reference group and consider themselves a household. Functional illiteracy, a quality attributed to an individual who lacks one or a combination of the basic skills necessary to communicate effectively in written or arithmetic forms. Functional literacy, that amount of ability in reading and writing that will permit the individual to perform duties and assume responsibilities above the minimum minimal level. General education. Broad-based education that is aimed at helping persons acquire an understanding and appreciation of their environment with emphasis on the past, present, and future. Graduate. A person who has satisfactorily completed certain prescribed requirements indicating they are ready to proceed to the next step or that he qualifies for a degree or a certain profession, occupation, or position. Grant. Gift of something executed for a designated purpose. Guidance. Process of offering information and possible alternatives around the needs of the individual so that he can make his own choices and decisions. Those are my 30 learning terms for this evening. Thank you.